everybody, Brad here with Arizona Grows. Welcome to my garden. As you can see, not a lot has changed since our last video, except for the trash pandas. The entire top's been harvested. They're all in the canitrol now. So that's been going on. Everything else in here is just finishing up. In, about 6 more days, the canitrol is going to be done, and we're going to take, the tops of everything else that's done. The bottoms, maybe the rest of the Neon Sunshine Z-Skittles all together. This lemon cherry pie in the back will be done by then, especially the tops, and we want to be able to get back there to hack it, and the rest of the trash panda should be done. So really in 10 days we're going to be looking at trash panda, Neon Sunshine, any of the tops that we can get from the other ones and still fit in the canitrol. And then 10 days after that, we'll pull down the rest of the tent, and then we'll flip it and get our next run going. That's going to be awesome. I was just thinking about how great this run was already and how much I enjoyed it. And one thing that's really cool, and I'll show you, we'll get some close-ups, but this Pop Scotty back here is really interesting. It doesn't, the smell yet isn't outrageous. It's kind of sweet. Maybe a little, effervescence on the end, but it is, it's getting some really pretty colors. The nugs are all big, they're thick, dense monsters. This Georgia pie, even though it's a little bit smaller, man, the nugs on this are thick, and they smell like gas. I had a Georgia pie before once from the dispensary. It almost kind of smelled like sweet tea, which was really interesting. But this one is definitely on the gas end, which I don't mind at all. So that's pretty cool. And it's this is from seed, and it's not a cut, and you never know, that person's cut might not have been the real cut from the thing, even though it came from cookies. Once things move from state to state, you just don't know anymore. But let's get in here and do some close-ups. There's just not a lot to talk about. Again, no food in here since then, and I have, since that last feeding 2 months ago, haven't added any food to any of these. They've been all water only, except for some goodies, some banana ferment, some coconut water, and then just water, and maybe a little root wise every now and then. Nothing super fancy. So not water only, but water with just some aloe and some ferment and some stuff. Nothing super fancy. And everything in here has been mostly water, just from the Autopot watering system. But yeah, it's looking great. Let's take a quick spin around, see what's going on. Not a lot to talk about. Purdue, UConn. I called UConn for the win, but I really feel like, could go either way. It's a big game for both teams. I think it's going to be really fun to watch. That's tonight, so that'll be cool. Yeah, not a lot to talk about. Everything in here looks great. Let's take a quick spin around. All right, everybody, we're back. Oh, I forgot to mention, I had that plant in the 10-gallon. I thought I was overwatering it. It was getting drastically underwatered. It just looked like it was going to die. It was, literally, guys, the soil was dry. So I just cut it down. It wasn't going to be much anyway. The rest of this garden's going to be able to fill out my thing, and that was just kind of an experiment because I had it and I needed somewhere, so I shoved it in there. And I probably shouldn't have. I could have used the other room, to move the neon out, or the trash panda, and made it better on myself. And then the only reason this is still in here last night is I watered this in, and I'm gonna do a quick watering again because it's still kind of light, but I put in here a bunch of spinach and carrot seeds. I thought, why not? While we're waiting for the garden to flip, we can get some food started. And if I need to slip this in the veg tent after the the big DWC plants come out, not a big deal. Plenty of room in there to throw in 10-gallon with some food in it. So spinach and carrots, that's what we're doing right now. It'll be interesting, and we'll just kind of go from there. All right, wow, look at this trash panda. It's trying to put out little nugs now down on the bottom. And before I couldn't get in there, and now I can, but I'm just going to let them go because they're going to have 20 days or so you know, before we have to get rid of them. So they might even finish. This lemon cherry pie in here is just killing it. I think this pot might have been a little dry too. So I gave it a big watering last night and it looks pretty good. I'll check it again tonight, see if it needs some more, but this lemon cherry pie has just been killing it. I do see some stuff like on this leaf. Not exactly sure what happened here on that one. And then over here, these ones had a couple burnt tips, but everything else on it, you know, looks amazing. Look at these big chunky nugs. I mean, I really did a good job on this one, but I don't even think it was me. I think it was this 30-gallon container really made things super duper easy, like watering in that, and then the soil does all the work for you. And so all I've done is water it with my RO water and the same goodies that I've put on the other things. Easiest one by far, and I know it looks like a mess right now because we had a lot of thin branches that I couldn't support during harvest, but was this tray to grow. I mean, this thing's amazing. I don't know if there's enough good things to say about it. It's full of living soil. It's like an earth box, but it's on steroids because it never runs out of water, right? It just calls for it. There's no chance you can miss it. You're not going to overfill it. Everything in it looks amazing. And I think that's what we're interested in. I mean, the trade, it's just been an amazing plant, and I really have enjoyed it. But it's just everything you put in it is just straight fire. So on the next run, depending on if I can save the clone or not, I'm trying to save it so Daz doesn't have to send out another one. The mail took an extra day, and it came like the bag was like dry inside, and as soon as I got them out, they weren't super sure, but that one leaf stood up on the clone. Maybe I can show it to you guys later, but it was pretty cool. So it might live. If not, you know, he already said he'd send out another one. I just told him, let's wait a second, because, you know, I don't want him to have to spend 20 bucks to send me something that he already sent once, just because it didn't quite make it right. You know, and that's something he's doing out of the kindness of his heart. It's not like I paid him for that, like he made any money off of it. You know, when somebody's doing a favor for you, I find it's best to just do whatever you can to make it easy for him. So if he can not have to send another one, awesome. Maybe it'll live. It's trying, man. It looked like it was dead, and now it's got one leaf standing straight up in the air. And I don't want to say it looks better every day, but it hasn't died yet, you know, because you know when a plant dies, like the leaves don't stand straight up in the air anymore. They just wilt over and everything's gone. But in the next run, if that clone lives and works, you know, we'll take a snip from it once it's big enough. And then in here, we're going to run in the tray to grow and in the 30-gallon, we're going to run the Sherbcake in one of them from Tiki, the clone that we purchased. And in the other one, we're going to run the Permanent Marker. And we're going to make sure those are things we like, you know, before we start breeding with them. We're going to do a full run on our own, see what we like about them. And if we like them, then what we'll do is we'll keep clones of the ones we bought alive and the one Daz sent. And then we're going to start hunting some exotic rainbow chip F2s, which also have Sherb in them. And then what we are going to do is mix those together. So hopefully we'll find a nice male when we're hunting, and then we'll have the two clones. And I think what I'd really like to do is get Sherbcake, Permanent Marker, and the rainbow chip F2 all in with a rainbow chip F2 male and make seeds of all of them. And then I can hunt through those seeds and find something that I want to feminize. And I think that's going to be the way we're going to do it. So we'll start from there. We'll figure it out. We've never done breeding before. Never thought about doing it. on our channel. We did get the pollen once from Raw, and we put it on some plants and none of them pollinated. Again, 100% me, could have been the male. It was free pomo pollen, so I don't know, didn't quite work out. We might try it again. I still have it in the fridge. It's still sealed in a thing. It's you know, so we can give it a try again. I mean, worst case, you're spreading some pollen that doesn't do anything, so it's not like it hurts your plants. It sure didn't the last run. We just didn't get any seeds. But we'll try that maybe in the next run. We'll try and seed a couple of the lower branches again, see if maybe the pollen got wet or something last time, and just kind of play around. If it doesn't work, you know, soon we're gonna have our own pollen, which I've heard is always better. Fresher the better for pollinating plants if you're not doing it with a male. So we'll go from there. But yeah, everything in here looks awesome. Let me come around and let you take a quick look at the Pop Scotty in the back. It's just starting to get some really cool colors. Here we go. Look at this thing. Just some really, really cool, you know, purples and stuff. Came out to be a great, really great looking plant. And you knew it was going to be because it got these big branches. These are the 4 tops because we topped it twice as it was coming up. Might have just topped it once, and then the side branches came up to meet the tops. That happens quite a lot. If you top at the right time, you'll get the 2 side branches coming up, and then your 2 new branches and your 2 side branches will be the exact same height. It makes it look like you topped twice when really you only topped once. So it's kind of neat. And then this Georgia Pie over here, smaller for sure, but definitely dense, like thick, dense nugs, and they are, I kid you not, stinky. They're just like gas. Not as much sweet on the end as the one I got from that dispensary, but that could come out and cure. You know, you just don't know. But it smells really nice, and I'm excited for that one. So that's the flower tent. Everything in here is going well. Flexi tank's flexing. Feeds both of my tents. Goes in the back to this one for the other auto pots. And then just a quick update in here. We got the full video in here later this week, so I don't want to do too much. But the 91 grapes. Let's see if we can get a full. Can't even get a full thing unless I back. Oh, I ran into something way up. Look at this plant. That's one auto in the DWC, just crushing it. Crazy. And then behind it, I don't know if my other ones are going to do this. So for the grow off, my plants are probably going to be like 1 foot tall and have like a single nug on them. But this exact same strain that we're growing for the grow off, I started over here in this other auto pot, the Strawberry Milk and Cookies Remix. And it's just killing it. Look how big that is. It's like there's the bottom. There's the top. Crazy. It's probably out of the thing, it's probably 3 feet tall right now. It's a big, big plant. And it's putting out nugs, has pretty good spacing. I mean, considering this light's only at 50%, it grew pretty well in here. And then this 91 grapes has just taken over the entire tent. It's just wild. I'm not sure what we're going to do, but this is going to come down at some point while we have the other stuff coming down from the other tent. So we're going to have a lot of stuff to try and shove in the canitrol. It's going to be a little crazy around here. This thing over here, the scraggly one, unless it bulks out a little bit more, it'll probably just go in my edibles jar. We'll still dry it out. No reason not to, but it's not going to get a good trim, and anything that's too scraggly will go away, and the rest of it will just go in edibles or to make coconut oil for my dog. She loves the THC coconut oil with her RS oil she takes. She's turning 15 this year, so we thought she was going to die about 8 years ago, and we started giving her Rick Simpson oil. Just, like last ditch effort. I got my medical card so I could get her oil back before recreational was legal. And we started just giving her oil, and I would just say be really careful if they get too much. It's really scary for your dogs. I wouldn't even start them on RSO. If I was starting again, I would start them with just coconut oil with a little THC in it, just tiny lick off your finger. You know, if they have cancer or something else going on, or you think, you know, there's something happening, it really seemed to work for my dog. I'm not a doctor or a vet or anything, so everybody's personal experience could be different. And every vet I've ever talked to says don't give THC to your dogs because it'll kill them. But my dog's been taking it for 8 years now, in a pretty big dose. Like, if any of my other dogs got her dose, like the Chihuahua could probably die, or the you know, all the other dogs would get sick and have hallucinations, even just from a tenth probably of what my dog takes, who's been on it for 8 years. So just be careful. Do what you need to do, but be very careful. It's not a joke. You know, you have to. The reason you're doing it isn't to get them high, it's to get their health benefits, right? Like, I mean, our dog was starting to get some growth. She would poop blood sometimes. She was having some things going on. And, you know, we're not rich people. We don't have enough money to put our dog through cancer treatment and do all that stuff as much as we love them. So we started looking for alternatives, and for me, we tried it. And she was like our test dummy, I guess, but she did so well, and she's still alive. 8 years, and she probably would have been dead, you know, 7 years ago if we didn't start our treatment. It wasn't looking good. So we're really excited about that. Another thing we stopped doing was giving our dogs tap water in Arizona. I just don't think it's healthy enough for an animal to drink, so we stopped doing that. And that's another thing that's really helped with their health. No tap water and RSO just for the one dog who's 8 years old. We have 4 dogs. None of the other dogs get anything. They're all healthy and fine, so they don't need it. But when the time comes, it's nice to know as they get older that we have some things we can do to make sure they're comfortable and maybe aren't suffering, you know. So that's really cool. Just a PSA, you know. I mean, check with your vet. Do your due diligence. Start small if you're going to do it, but don't be terrified, you know. And I would definitely just you know, play it by ear. If your dog has cancer or something, you know, well, you don't want your dog to die, but cancer treatment for your dog's like $15,000-$20,000. It's not something normal people can afford, I don't think. So go from there. Just be careful. Not a doctor or a vet. Seek your own advice from a licensed professional. But yeah, just wanted to check in. This is the tent. Everything's looking awesome. When I get the buds out of the canitrol in about 6 days, we'll shoot a little video. So this weekend we'll have our own fresh nugs again, and then we'll have to start thinking about what we're doing with these babies. All right, everybody, Brad here. Arizona grows. Yukon tonight. I think it'd be super cool if Purdue won, though, but I think Yukon's gonna win. All right, everybody, have a great week. Let's start it off right. Happy growing.